Join us, MrTruck.com, for truck reviews, trailer reviews, and accessory reviews.
Sorry, kid.
Where's that band? It's in the top glove box, I think.
Where's what?
My little throw-up band.
It's in the top.
Yeah, let's see if I can find it. We gotta read the instructions.
Uh-oh.
Oh my goodness. There's police, motorcycles.
Maybe I shouldn't have gone this way.
Well, it's about the only way to go there. But he's pulling a bunch of people over.
It's probably because they're all having fun out here.
Well, he knows he can't catch us, so
No, I ain't running from the police.
you're not running from the police. What's a good...
That does not look good on camera.
No, that
whether
looks-
it's from in truck or helicopter, it does
Yeah,
not look good.
Let's see.
This steering wheel's nice.
Look at that. It even has a handy little container.
The size of it's perfect.
See, those are my bands. These are my bands, so I don't get motion sickness. With Go-Go Racer here.
There's
Well-
only a couple drives that you let me not have a truck or not have a trailer and get to go fast. So
I
thank
know.
you.
You're a truck enthusiast, though. You enjoy it. And that's good.
You know, and I won't knock this by any means, but I don't see if I were to ever buy one of these,
Yeah.
I probably couldn't afford the fuel just because of the mileage that I'm used to getting.
Sure. Yeah, this is like one of the most loaded ones that they have. So we've got all the toys.
Well, it's slick.
Adaptive cruise control. All the normal stuff from the government. Locking rear.
From the government.
Yeah, park view, rear backup camera. Park view, I think that's that. Yeah, it's a little more magnified. It's got a class 4 receiver. 7-inch color display there by the steering wheel. The other one's 12-inch.
Yeah, your dash is huge, or the radio monitor, the console is huge.
Yeah. And this has a shift monitor. Can you tell where you're... It does tell you what gear you're in.
Yeah, it does tell me what gear it's in. It tells me if I'm in manual or automatic mode.
It's got the corner step, which you showed
Corner
us
step,
there.
yeah.
This is a sprayed-in bed liner.
Can't see.
Wow, the Carbon Pro fiber package is $1,295.
Well, I would buy it because it's pretty.
Yeah. See, the level 2 TR2, that's $7,920 rooms.
What do you get in that package, that tier 2?
Well, it's hard to see. Optional equipment. Let's see. Heads-up display. Let's see. The technology group, which includes heads-up display and that mirror, is $1,095. Well, I'm going to assume that all the stuff below that, where it talks about level 2, is part of the package. It's the leather trim bucket seats, the cooled front seats, ventilated, the wrapped driver and passenger assist handles, luxury door trim, full-length premium upgraded floor console, premium wrapped instrument panel, auto lighting, memory seats, trailer brake controller.
This thing has like power on demand.
Yeah, it does. Got heated front and second row.
Brake button.
Exhaust brake.
Mm-hmm.
Exhaust brake.
I know. Well, I'm going down a hill.
There's no diesel on this puppy.
I need an exhaust brake. Should be
Yeah.
mandatory. I know it's only back pressure, but I want one.
Yeah. Well, I always try and talk people into putting them on these turbos, but I've never seen one on a blower
Not on a-
before.
no.
Yeah.
Not on a supercharger.
Talked about the turning headlights, the mocker lights, the skid plates. I guess it runs at 11 psi of boost. So the charges are not, as high a boost as my turbochargers are. And we looked at the phone charger thing, real quick, power piston shears, the locker, front camera. We covered all this. Comparing it to the Raptor, and I'll probably do that with Andrew too, because he owns a Raptor.
I haven't drove a Raptor in a really long
because those are 3.5 like my truck is, but they're the high output, so that's why they're 450 horsepower and 510 torque. And they came out 10 years ago, so they've had the market all to themselves for all that time.
And then Ram comes in and undercuts them with 702 to 650.
Yeah, so you jump a couple hundred horsepower there, so that was quite a bit. But you know, you can kind of see what's going on between Ford and Ram. You know, on the Ford, they've got now super trimmer, the trimmer, and then they've got, Ram has got Power Wagon. Now, see, that's part of the thing. This is my opinion about between Ford and Ram. So the Jeep's been around since, good gosh, in the 50s, the 40s, whatever it was. And Ford had the Bronco, and then Ford kind of got out of that smaller four-wheel drive unit, you know. And then Jeep got really big with the Wrangler. You know, they sell so many accessories, and it's a big popular thing, the Wrangler. And so is the Jeep Cherokee.
It's a huge market. I mean, look at this video. How many people had Jeep Cherokees, Wranglers?
Oh,
everything was up there.
That's true. And so
Toyota's in the market.
That's true. And see, the Power Wagon got left alone for a long time. You know, nobody really is in the heavy-duty market with an off-road truck like that. So then, you know, Ford says, well, wait a minute, the Wrangler is selling too much. We're going to jump in that market. So they came out with the Bronco. And we'll get a Bronco probably next summer to drive, but that's what I'm thinking. The Bronco came in and is trying to take away market share, and it probably will because it looks like a good vehicle. So Ram has thought, what's going on with these guys? They're starting to invade our markets. And then the Power Wagon was by itself, and then Ford put the trimmers in there, and so that's a direct competition with the Power Wagon. So you see what I'm saying there? I think
They're playing
Ram,
the game.
Yeah, well, Ram thought they were gonna, you know, get invaded by Ford because two of their biggest markets that they owned all by themselves, basically. Other than, you know, 4Runner was in there too on the Jeep. But when Ford brought out the Bronco, they brought out the trimmer. And so I think this is one way that Ram is getting back at them. Say, hey, you guys had 10 years of selling Raptors. We're going to come in and kick your ass now. And so that's why they wanted to go much more power and all that.
Well,
so
where are we at on price points? When you do this, comparing it to the Raptor, I'd like to see MSRP or sticker price on both of them to see where we're at. And I understand that this one right now currently has more horsepower and torque. This is a wide truck.
It is. Well, 88 inches, so it's 8 inches wider, maybe 9 inches wider than a normal pickup truck. Of course, the dualies are pretty wide too. They're probably really close to that. So it's kind of like driving a dually around. I'm starting to see that this hat isn't going to work. It's going to come flying off. I can tell that. I'm going to fight all my cameras first. Well,
This thing flat out hauls.
it does. That's what you call this. This is a hauler. What is this guy here driving?
It's a hand bike.
Wow.
It's working on his upper body strength.
Okay.
It's such a comfortable ride.
Well, it is. These big wide tires, and then, you know, the fact that it's active shock absorbers is going to change for whatever you're doing. It knows when you're launching. It knows when you're airborne. It knows when you're...
Have you been jumping this thing this week?
No,
not at all.
I do my ATVs I jump with, but I don't really. This one here.
You're not Raptor testing this T-Rex?
No, you got to understand your approach angle to the ramp kind of thing, you know.
I thought it was all about the angle coming down.
Well, yeah, that's exactly right, because the angle going up determines your angle coming down, and you got to have the right distance, or your angle going down is a lot sharper than you want. It's called rolling forward. So that's the part you got to actually do some math. And whenever I go to a program, like I've been to a couple of different launches with the Ford Raptor, and they had us airborne, they had us driving way up on the side of things, climbing rocks that were unbelievable. I didn't get to go to the launch for this truck, where I know some of that stuff.
I honestly can say every time we take any of these vehicles for running or like four-wheeling or up the mountain or anything like that,
Yeah.
the ridiculous looks that we get from taking, you know, a 60, 70, 80, 90, $100,000 vehicle up to some of the places that we take them is priceless.
Is that right?
Oh, that one stop when we go up to Camp Dick or up the trail that way, there's always a couple people that come up with like trailers of four-wheelers or gators or side-by-sides, and they run them out, and some of their eyes are 10 times too big than their head because they're like, there ain't no way in heck I would be driving that. But
yeah, there's some of those guys, I can't remember what it was, some unusual vehicle I was driving a while back, and they actually just kind of chased us down the road just looking at it. What was it? Jeez, I can't even remember what it was. Whatever it was, that had to be cool because they were all interested. That's how the H2 Hummer was when it first came out, and I was driving. Every time I stopped for gas, I have a whole group of people around me.
What is this? What is this?
Yeah, they're all amazed. Now this one, like I say, because of the color, it's kind of undercover. Now if this was red, I think people would say, oh, that's a TRX. I think now they don't quite know what it is. Unless they're a big truck enthusiast, then they'll figure it out.
Well, it says it right on the side, and then the fact that they advertise that it's supercharged is kind of cool. But I am kind of big on debadging, so people don't know what I'm running.
Right, and that's like when you order this. Because I know TFL ordered one.
Did Andre?
Yeah, well, TFL did, and they didn't get the fanciest one.
Hey.
They got like the first level, level 1, and they did the badging, but I'm surprised that they didn't, because when you order them that way, you can get the 0 model and have no badging at all. So yeah, a lot of people do that. So that way you're kind of undercover and nobody knows what you're sneaking up on doing there.
Oh, there ain't no sneaking up with this thing. This thing's loud.
Well, 118 miles an hour, you can probably get up to them pretty close.
I wonder if there's an actual we can get to 118, because I know a lot of them are governed out.
Yeah, well, that's how this is. A lot of the Fords are governed at 105, and this is 118. So I imagine that's where, of course, we're at altitude too, so you may never not quite get there because of the altitude.
I don't know, my dash says I can do 120.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir. Well, you'll have fun in 2 weeks. We get the Gladiator diesel. And
a little Jeep truck?
Yeah, it's basically the same diesel you have in your black truck.
It is, I do believe.
Yeah, so we'll have to see how they compare, because it's going to be lighter, it may go faster. It gets decent fuel mileage, but that's and
your hand should be on the steering wheel.
Yeah.
I don't know, it feels weird having them split like this.
Well, yeah, they did that for the radio controls, but yeah, because like the ones I have on my Honda side by side, they're not, and the ones in the Ford Raptor are not recessed. But then they cut out the metal section for the radio controls, and there you go. Yeah.
What rear end's in this?
355. 355 rear axle. Yeah, it's got a rear locker.
Doesn't help with
The front is 4-wheel drive, but it's not a locker. So I'm not sure why they did that. That's kind of unusual.
You know, I'm dorking around with it and having fun, and I'm still at 13 miles a gallon.
Okay, I was going to go through some of the modes with you. If you look down here, you can see there's a 4-wheel drive, axle lock. It's in 4-wheel drive all the time. There's a mode button, and there's your launch button, which we had trouble setting up. So we went into the drive modes and set it all up. Had some problems getting it to launch properly, but it's saying it's got so many cool options. That's the drive modes, the sport, the tow, and snow, and we have it on auto right now. And you got custom, mud and sand, rock, and Baja. We tried all those. And in Baja, it should have really good wheel travel, which would make it a nice soft ride like you do on a Razor. And we took it to Bunt School, and it just shook the crap out of us. We tried every single mode. So I think there's some kind of a computer glitch somewhere in here that probably just needs updated. But let's see, hit performance. And what have you got? You got how you set up everything, the transmission, the paddle shifters, stability control, suspension, steering. So you can set all those things up. And then let's see, in the race options, you can set your RPM and your launch speed and all that. And then you've got the launch control, the shift light, and race cool down. So it's pretty cool. We went through all that stuff. And when you set it up to launch, you got to be level. Truck's got to be level. The steering wheel's got to be straight. And then you got to follow the criteria there. But hopefully we'll get another shot at this and try some more things, because we had trouble getting it to do what we wanted it to do. Now, if you can see, it hasn't done it yet. All right, it's got a light comes on when there's a trailer, and I got a trailer hooked up, so I think it just hasn't measured it with the camera. So hold on. Okay. Now the Rams came out with this in 2019. See that little spot? It's yellow. It says 20 feet. That's good. Right next to the menu there. That measured the trailer when I turned the corner. So that's pretty close. It's 14 feet. But I love that. They came out that 2019 on all their other 1500s. But yeah, that's awesome. But there you go. Your tachometer. And you've got a lot of options on this screen. I've always liked Ram screen. They really stepped ahead on all this stuff. Let me go through the modes. So that is snow mode. They just happen to have the same color truck in there as this truck is. I don't think they match it on what you buy. That's the tow haul mode, and that's on. And then let's try the other ones. There's sport mode, and it shuts traction control off, so you have a little better control. Next one is Baja. We tried that. We thought that had the most wheel travel. Let's see. We go through all of them, and there's rock. And it shifts to enter, hit the rock, it shifts into four-wheel drive low, which has, the Raptor has a lot of these same options, but this is so cool. Yeah, Baja, rock. And then let's see, once we go back, there's mud and sand. Custom. Traction control off. You get into snow. We're on some slick stuff, and there's tow haul mode. So that's how you go through the modes. And then you have all these things on the center stack, which is where the heads-up display is. See if we can see the heads-up display. It's dark outside, but that is it there. It shows you miles per gallon and your all that stuff, your mile per hour, speed limit. We had a hard time trying to find where in the, and it's in the screen somewhere where you can control, where you can lift it up and down and add or take away different options on it. Forward camera. Everybody had a forward camera. And you have all the other ones. But yeah. So many controls, so little time. Yes, indeed. And all those auxiliaries and all those USB ports. So this is when there's the brake controller's in great position to reach fast, which is what I want. And the brake control works great. This is actually remarkably better than some of the Rams I've had with the brake controllers. These are made by Continental. This one, this truck handles so well. We just had problems with trying to launch it and, you know, do all the speed stuff. But the handling on the road is superb. I mean, it just floats down the road. A very enjoyable ride. We just got to see what needs upgraded on the, I think it's the computer, some glitches. So, anyway, it wasn't letting the shocks react like they're made to. These Bilsteins are made to react to different terrain and things in different modes, and we didn't get them to move at all. So I'm sure it's just a computer glitch. We got to see if they can get it fixed and get it back to us so we can do a really good launch video and off-road video. Two things we couldn't do as well because of some problems. But it's just a wonderful truck. It sounds so awesome, and I'm sure this is pretty new. I don't know when this was built, but it's got a full Moroni, so we know it's all intact. But anyway, yeah, we used a couple different drivers to see if there was a difference, and we couldn't get it quite to react the way we wanted it to. Now this has got so many cool places to look at stuff. This is your G-forces, and it shows you how level you are. It shows you all four, I guess that's 4 axis. Yeah, and you see the dyno engine is really cool. Push that button, and then there's your graph, and then you just wrap this puppy up. And it shows your torque and horsepower, and that is running at, it's running about 4,000 RPM, and that shows the graph of what it is. Is that cool or what? Oh, we got the spike up there. That is so cool. Yep. Then you can even take pictures of this, and then you can go through, and it shows you the locking rear of the wheel articulation, shows you everything that's moving. Then you get up to dashboard, and you get all these cool gauges. And then you can do the timing, where you can actually do your own quarter mile, and you're only 0 to 60. And come on, kick in there. There we go. And then it's here 60 feet, through 30 feet, 1/8 of a mile, quarter, 1/8 of a mile speed, all the way through quarters. And then you can keep track of it, and you and your friends can go out and see if you can beat each other. But that is so cool. Yeah. And you can take snapshots of it, print it off a Wi-Fi printer, keep track of it. That is just so cool. So many things to play with on this big 12-inch screen. Such a good handling truck. Going down the road, it's just nothing to it. And it's got, let's see, I don't know if I can get the headlights to turn, but as you turn corners, your headlights will turn. I guess I actually have to be moving for that to kick in. But that's so cool. A lot of luxury cars have that, where you turn the corner and your headlights turn the corner. So that's just too cool.